Hi everyone, it's svgcoop.com and we are going to start our newest album. This is going to be an album based on the Magic Kingdom theme. And it's going to be an 11.5 by 11.5 album. So you're going to want to cut two pieces of chipboard that are 11.5 by 11.5. So you're going to cut two of those. You're going to cut one piece that's 4 inches by 11.5 because we're going to put two bindings in here. Because it's going to be, let's see, 18 pages. I think that's right. And then we're going to also cut two 10.5 by 1 7/8 pieces of chipboard. So again, it's two 11.5 by 11.5, one 4 by 11.5, and two 10.5 by 1 7/8. So because the book is going to be so big this time, I actually already covered my second piece. So what we're going to do is I'm not giving you a file to cut the covers for this one. So we're just going to have to measure it and cut it. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my Magic Kingdom piece here, my Cinderella piece, and I'm going to turn it over. And I'm just going to try to center my chipboard on here. And what I want to do is I'm actually just going to put a little bit of glue on the back here, just to kind of hold it in place. It's let's see. I'll just hold the paper in place pretty good. So you're going to want to center it on your 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Like that, and give it a little rub. And just so you know that this paper, I ordered it from Amazon, and it's a Disney collection. I think this is Sandy Line. So you can see there, it's Sandy Lines. So you can get it at Amazon.com, and I'll show you the other papers as we use them, I think. But that's what I'm using for the cover. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to come to the corners. And this doesn't have to be perfect, but you're just going to slice off the corner. You don't want to go right against the corner of your chipboard. You want to go in a little bit. So I'm just going to slice that corner off like that. You're going to do that to all 4 corners. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect or anything. You just want to take a little slice. It's just because our book is so big that you wouldn't be able to actually cut this on the Cricut. It won't cut anything that big. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my score tape, and this is Suk Wang score tape. It holds super strong, so I really like it. So I'm going to put this right along the edge here of the chipboard. I'm going to do all 4 sides. Just get that laid down like that. And this score tape holds so nicely that it's really good for this particular piece because you don't have a lot of paper here to grasp onto. So I'm just going to use my glue thing so I don't get paper cut. I'm just going to rub this like a bone folder. Give it a little rub on each side. Okay. Then I'm just going to do this one side at a time. Let's start with this piece. Pull the tape up. You're going to want to just try to fold the paper up around your chipboard and then start in the middle and stick it to the middle first and then work your way out. And then I'm just going to use my glue again. You can use a bone folder if you want to, but I'm just going to use my glue. Okay, so the next one. So you kind of fold it around and then start sticking in the middle and work your way out. give it a little rub. This is the first time I'm not giving you a cut file for this part, but somebody requested a 12 by 12 book, and this is as close to a 12 by 12 that I can come to, so thought we would try to make a bigger book this time. So not so mini for our mini albums, I guess. Okay, so I'm just gonna fold this up and then stick it into the middle. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around again with the score tape, and this is so we can put the backing on. So I'm going to come right around like this, exact same way we did before. I'm going in maybe just a tiny little bit extra, just in case for some reason I don't lay the next piece perfectly. It gives me a little bit of leeway here. Okay, I'm just going to give that a little rub. Who knew your glue could come in handy like that? Okay. All right, so the next thing is for my first one, I used this nice blue pattern paper, and I got that. Let me see if I can show you where that came from. I'm going to be using probably a bit of this. This is the Die Cuts with a View Timeless Texture paper, and I used the blue because we're going to have one side is going to be the end cap is going to be Peter Pan, and the other one is going to be the Astro Orbiter. So this is going to be for the Peter Pan side, this blue, and I'm going to use this black from the same thing. You can see it's got some design on it. I'm going to use that for the Astro Orbiter. So I'm just going to peel one side off, not all four. And I'm going to get, before I stick this actually, you're going to have to trim this down to 11.5 by 11.5. So I'm just going to do that really quickly because I didn't do that ahead of time. The paper is 12 by 12. So you're just going to trim off a 1/2 inch from 2 of the sides. And that should give you the 11.5 by 11.5 that you need. Okay, so just trim that. You can use a paper trimmer. I like to use my craft knife. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start at the top. I'm just going to get this lined up here as best I can. Okay, give that a rub. Then I'm going to just do one side at a time. So I'm going to pull this side off, and then I'm just going to carefully lay this down and just give it a little gentle guidance. Okay, then I'm going to take the other 2 sides off. So I'm going to pull this one from the bottom here. And I'm going to just hold up the corner like this. Okay, so before I lay it down, I'm just going to gently come down like this. I don't get any lumps. And there we go. Okay, so now you're going to have 2 pieces that are covered like that. All right, so we're not going to cover our binding piece yet. What we're going to do is, I already did one where we've got the bindings on here, so I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So you're going to cut 2 sets of the binding pieces. And the binding pieces are going to have all of these score marks in it, and then you're going to have 2 little pieces that look like this. So the first thing you're going to do is fold these in half, these 2 little pieces. We're going to glue them to the ends of our chipboard here. Now we've done this a bunch of times in different movies, so if you have made my books before, you can just speed past this part because you will know how to do it already. Just going to get that glued on there like that. Aside for a minute, and we're going to do this mountain valley fold for the binding. So what you're going to do, it doesn't matter which side you start on, but what you're going to do is you're going to skip that first line, skip the second line, and go to the third line first, and you're just going to fold the paper back like that, and then pull this out, and you're going to want to pinch that, and you're just going to fold it up like that, and then fold it back this way. So that's going to be our hinge. You can see that. Okay, then you're going to skip the next line, go to the one after that, and again, fold it down like this. Push it down and pinch it, and fold it that way, and then fold it back. That will be our second hinge. Skip the next one, go to the next, same thing, fold it down, give it a pinch, fold it, and fold it back. Okay, skip the next one, fold again, give it a pinch, and fold it back and forth. Okay, and then you have the first ones that we skipped in the first place. So you just want to fold those down. Like that. On the other side, you're just going to fold it down. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to have our 4 hinges like this. Okay, and then these parts are going to wrap around our base here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to use my score tape, and I'm going to put it in between each one of where the hinges are. So you're going to not do the first one, not the second one, but you'll go to the third. And then you're just going to go to the next valley in here and put it on there. You can also use glue if you want to. Okay, go to the next one. And then the last one. And you're going to do this twice, because again, you're going to have 2 sets of hinges in the book. Okay, so give those a little rub, and then what we're going to do, I'm just going to pull the tape off, and flip it back over, and I'm just going to pinch it again so that the tape sticks. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next one. pull out the tape, flip it over, and just pinch it back together like that. Okay. And one more. Okay. So what I'm going to do while I have it out and free is I'm going to put score tape on each side of the hinge, and that's going to be what holds our pocket pages. So I'm just going to go on either side of the hinges and put the tape there. Okay. And since we're doing a double hinge book, we're pretty much going to be doing doubles of all of the pages that have folds and things like that. But I also designed 11 different basically scrapbook pages for you to use for the alternate side. So it should be really adorable, this book, when we're done. I'm really looking forward to finishing it and seeing how it comes out. And then of course you can use it for any other park if you want to. I am going to be doing a series of these, so I will do all 4 Disney parks. This is just going to be the first one. And I'm also going to do a Florida, basically a Florida book that will be more like character based, so that in case you go to SeaWorld or Universal, you'll be able to use the book for all of that. So, but right now, this is what we're working on. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we need some score tape on the back here. So I'm just going to put some on 2 of the sections here, because that should hold it pretty well. I'm going to use the outer sections because the inner sections are where I'm going to put my brads to hold this together. And then I'm going to put 2 on the way outside here. And 1 on this outside and 1 on this outside. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to get this wrapped around here so I can just give it a little test run first. So you want to center it on your piece here, like that, and you want it to be kind of even on the top and the bottom. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm first going to do one side. So I'm going to, let me get in the camera here. Got it centered, I'm holding it in place, and I'm just going to pull the tape off the one side and get that folded down. Then I'm going to open it up and pull these other 2 pieces off. Okay, and I'm just going to fold this right over on top and then pull the last piece off. Get that on there like that. Okay. So this is going to be our binding. Don't worry if yours is not absolutely perfect. It's okay. We're going to hide it with pages and all kinds of goodies, so you won't even notice it. But there we go. So that's going to be our binding and our cover. We will be back with the next video showing you how to get the outer part of the binding and the rest of this all attached so we have our actual book. We'll be right back. Thanks for watching. Okay, we are back and we're going to be continuing with making our book cover. So the next piece is also going to be something else that you're going to cut yourself. So I took 2 sheets of 12 by 12 and I cut one at 8 inches by 12 inches. And then the other one is 8 inches by 11 and a half. And again, we're doing it this way because the book is bigger than what we normally make. So gonna give this a good rub. I ran it through my Xyron. And I'm going to take my bigger piece first. Pull this off. Okay, I'm going to peel my bigger piece off first. I'm going to try and keep this as in screen as much as possible. But because our book is so big, it really is going to be a little bit of a challenge here. Okay, but you can see that's 8 inches wide. So what we need to do is we're going to take our chipboard piece that is 4 by 11 and a half. And before we do anything with it, I've cut 2 pieces of Tyvek, and they're a little bit smaller Tyvek envelope. You know, they're these envelopes. If we put them on here, it's going to make it so that when you open and close your book, it won't rip. So before I do that, let me get this off here. I'm going to just move this over for a second. I'm going to take my score tape and just going to score the back of my chipboard. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can just randomly put it on here because it's going to get stuck down anyway. Okay, so I'm going to just give that a little rub and pull off the tape. I'm just going to stick my Tyvek, you know, about halfway. Okay, so it looks like that. I'm going to do the other side. Now this piece, this looks like it might just be a little bit big, so I'm just going to trim it down. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just to make sure that your book doesn't have any problems. So I just want to make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's about 6 inches. You want to make sure it's less than the 8 inches for the other piece. Okay, so this is my piece. So we're going to put this here. And actually, I think what I'm going to do, sorry, one more time. I'm going to put some score tape on the other side of the Tyvek tape envelope, because that's going to help hold the other pieces of the cover to it. So I'm just going to put some tape here, closer to the edge. It doesn't have to be totally on the edge, just not right up against the other chipboard here. Okay. So you're going to get your 8 by 12 piece on here, and you're going to center your 8.5 by 11 piece, your 4 by 11.5 piece on here the best that you can. Okay, like that. And then you're going to pull the score tape off of the top here and off of here. And what we also want to do is we're going to put score tape on the top and bottom of the chipboard piece here, because that's going to help hold this paper in place. So I'm just going to put a little piece of score tape there and another one down here on the bottom, like that. This is going to work the same way the other piece did. Okay, so then what we're going to do, and we've done this before, I want my piece that has the black, because that's going to be Master Orbiter. You want to make sure that your cover is the right direction. So I want the titles, Cinderella, to be facing upwards. So that's going to go on my left side here. And what I want to do is I'm going to grab a little piece of chipboard. Just a little junky piece. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to put the chipboard, hold it up here like this, and then I want to line up my page and then lay it down and press. Okay. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And again, you want to make sure your title, if you're using something with writing, that it's in the right direction. And I'm going to hold my chipboard up here. And I'm going to line that up with my other piece, like that. Okay. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to put a little piece of score tape, again, up on the top here like this, just to help hold the piece down. I'm going to do that for the top and the bottom. Okay, so you can see I've got it on the bottom and I have it on the top. So I'm going to, let's see if I can smooth this sideways a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to pull the tape off first. Okay, and I'm going to do what we did before. I'm just going to start curving the paper around, and then I'm going to start in the middle and then work my way out to the edge like that. You don't have a lot of paper here, so that's why we want the extra score tape, because it's really going to help hold it. Okay, and I'm going to flip this around, pull the score tape off. Okay, now you're going to fold this up a little and get it bent up, and then again start in the middle and then work your way out. Okay. All right, now to just make sure that our other piece is going to stick well, going with some extra security, so I'm just going to take a piece of score tape and put it in here, and I'm staying within where the range is of the other piece of paper. Just putting it kind of inside here a little. Okay, and it looks like I am out of score tape for this one. Okay, and so I'm going to pull the tape off here. This side, and then I'm going to take our other piece, which is 8 inches by 11 and a half, and I'm going to start at the top here. I'm just going to close down a little so I can see better. I'm going to line this right up with the top piece. Oops, sorry, it's just once this sticks, it's going to stick but good, so we're just going to gently lay that down. Okay, and we're going to carefully find where our crease is. You can just rub your finger along it, and you just want to get your book to bend. Okay, and I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to run my fingers down it. You can use a bone folder if you want to, but sometimes it rips the paper, so I'm not going to recommend that. I've done that before. Okay. All right, so here we go. This is what it looks like so far. All right, and we ready to get our bindings in next. We'll be right back. Thanks for watching. Okay, so our next step is going to be putting our hidden hinges and attaching it to our book cover. So I'm going to be using my big bite. I'm going to have it set at 2 inches here, and I'm going to be using the 1/8 hole. And I used thinner chipboard this time, so I'm hopefully going to be able to use these little ones. If not, I'm going to have to go to my standard larger brads. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take both of our hinges, and I'm going to put some, let me see, actually I'm going to go grab some score tape. I'll be right back. Okay, so this time I'm going to be using 1/2 inch red score tape, and I'm just going to put 2 pieces along the back of my hidden hinge here, and I'm just going to trim that. The difference with the red and the white is that you have to cut the red. You cannot just break it off or tear it with your hands. Of course, you could also use one of the tape runners if you want to. Mine happened to stop working, so that's why I turned to the score tape, and I really like it, so it seems to be working out okay for me. Okay, so I'm going to get the score tape on here like this. Okay, just going to give that a rub. And yes, now I'm using a marker as my rubber. You can use anything that's sitting around, or you can actually get your bone folder out. Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to line these 2 up, and they should fit, you know, nicely inside of our binding here. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull tape off of one, and I'm just going to lay this close to the edge and as centered as I kind of can. And I'm going to do the same with the other one. Okay. And I'm almost going to bucket right up next to each other. Okay. Make sure this is going to close. Okay. Then what we're going to do, you're going to open these up. We're going to go into the middle of each one, and we're going to take our punch. We're going to punch a hole up to our 2 inches, and you're just going to line it up to the center of each one of the sets of binding. Just punch your hole right through there. And then the next one. Okay, flip it around. You're going to do the same thing. So you're going to go in between you're going to have 2 hinges on each side that you're going into. And this one is much easier because I really am using much thinner chipboard. Okay. And then we're going to stick our brads in. So you're just going to come through the back where the hole is. Just stick your brad through there. And you want it so that it's going to open up vertically along your hinge like this. So you want it to be like that. Okay, and you're going to do that for all 4. Okay, I'm going to flip it around and do the other side. Stick it in. Turn it. Sometimes if you use a very thick chipboard, it's much harder to be able to use some of these cooler brads that you can get, but this case seems to be okay. And these brads are going to help keep your hinge in a little bit more solidly, so That's a good thing. All right, so there we go. We basically have our book with no pages, but we'll be working on that next. All right, thanks for watching. Next we will start working on the pockets and the pages themselves. Be right back.